Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's October 20th, 2022 and the new name has emerged as a possible replacement for Sergio Busquets, who could be leaving the club at the end of the season. Also, the European Super League has hired a new CEO to continue working on the project, and the Barcelona Femini have started the Women's Champions League the best way possible. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and we begin with the news that Barcelona will face off against Villarreal today at the Spotify Camp Nou. Now it's expected that this is going to be a difficult match against Unai Emery's side, who's a great tactician and who knows how to annoy Barcelona into near submission. So this most likely is going to be a tactical chess match between Xavi Hernandez and Unai Emery. Now it's also expected that there's going to be a lot of rotations on the team, because Xavi is going to look to change things up to see what works, and also because there's a very hectic calendar ahead of us until the World Cup, so expect a lot of rotations in the lineup. Now the former Barcelona player and the former Barcelona goalkeeping coach Carlos Unzué visited the players yesterday in order to give a motivational speech, and he said, "It's time to be brave and daring. The difficulties of the moment are something that will make you grow." Now, Carlos Unzué was recently diagnosed with ALS, which is a debilitating disease with no cure, that the affected person with time starts to lose the functionality of their body. Now, hopefully the words of this legend, Carlos Unzué, will inspire the team to get a win today and get those 3 points after a very difficult week where Barcelona drew against Inter Milan in the Champions League and they lost El Clásico against Real Madrid. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, which I will leave the link for down below in the description in case you want to check it out, Barcelona have decided to look for a substitute for Sergio Busquets in the winter transfer market. Now, one of the names that's been heavily linked with Barcelona is Ruben Neves. Now, Neves is currently playing in the Wolverhampton and his contract will expire in 2024, and it's reported that his agent Jorge Mendes has already begun work to try to get the player out of the Premier League club this winter transfer market. Now, Jorge Mendes offered Ruben Neves to Barcelona this past summer. However, Wolverhampton were asking for 80 million euros, so Barcelona decided not to proceed with the operation. Now, it's reported that Ruben Neves does not want to renew his contract with Wolverhampton and he wants to leave the Premier League club, so we're going to have to see whether he'll be able to arrive in the winter transfer market to become the substitute of Sergio Busquets. Now, despite Barcelona looking for a substitute for Busquets in the winter transfer market, the club will also be looking for another defensive midfielder in the summer transfer window, given that Busquets' contract will expire at the end of the season, so Barcelona is going to need 2 defensive midfielders, one to arrive in the winter transfer market to rotate with Sergio Busquets, and the second one to replace Sergio Busquets in the summer transfer window. Now, one of the names that has emerged as a possible replacement for Sergio Busquets is Andrei Santos. Now, Santos is an 18-year-old defensive midfielder who currently plays in Brazil, and it's reported that Barcelona are monitoring the situation of the youngster and they're considering making a move for him in the summer, as there's a lot of positive reports coming out of Brazil in regards to this youngster. Now, another player that Barcelona are reportedly monitoring to be a possible replacement for Sergio Busquets is the Argentinian Enzo Fernandez. Now, the 21-year-old midfielder currently plays for Benfica, and despite only arriving this past summer from River Plate, he has made a huge impact in the Portuguese league, and he's considered to be an Argentinian rising star. Now, it's reported that Enzo Fernandez was offered to Barcelona for 10 million euros, but the club decided not to proceed with the operation, and as a result, Benfica were able to sign this rising star for that same price. Now, on to the news that the Turkish club Galatasaray are interested in signing Memphis Depay, and as a result, they have initiated contact with his camp. Now, Memphis Depay's contract will expire with Barcelona in the summer of 2023, and the player was expected to leave this past summer. However, his move to Juventus fell through at the last moment. Now, it's reported that Barcelona is going to discuss with Memphis Depay his future after the World Cup, but it's expected that the player is going to end up leaving the club, given that he's currently looking for more than what Barcelona can offer him. Now, it's reported that the Turkish club Galatasaray are interested in signing Memphis Depay, and as a result, they have initiated contact with him. But I personally doubt that the Dutch forward is going to end up at the Turkish side, because one of the conditions that he proposed over the summer was that he only wanted to leave the club if it was to another competitive club, that can compete in the Champions League. Now on to the news that the European Super League have hired a new CEO in hopes that he can continue working on a project and he can launch this league in the future. Now the European Super League, whose angular clubs are Real Madrid, Barcelona and Juventus, are currently awaiting a favorable court ruling that's expected to come out in 2023 to see whether UEFA has a monopoly on the sport. Now the European Super League have hired Bernd Rijkaard as their new CEO, and the Super League released a statement where they said his initial focus will be to initiate an active and extended dialogue with a comprehensive group of football stakeholders, including clubs, players, coaches, fans, media, and policy makers. They also added, the aim is to facilitate the development of a suitable sporting model for European club competitions that reflects the long-term and mutual best interests of fans and of the broader football community. Now the European Super League is a proposed seasonal league that would be composed of 20 clubs, including the 12 founding clubs, which would be the biggest clubs in Europe. And this league has received a lot of backlash from both UEFA and FIFA with arguments of elitism and lack of competition. But we all know that UEFA and FIFA are only opposed to this league because it's going to hurt their pockets. Now on to the news that the Barcelona Femini began the Women's Champions League in the best way possible. Now the Barcelona Femini defeated Benfica 9-0, and their captain Alexia Putellas, who won her second Ballon d'Or in a row, was able to parade her trophy prior to that match. Now the Barcelona Femini are going to face off next against Rosengard, followed by Bayern Munich. Now we will end today's video with 3 brief updates. The first one is that Lamine Yamal has been called up to the Spanish under-19 team. Now Lamine Yamal, who is the biggest talent currently at La Masia, is only 15 years old and has been called up to the under-19 team, which is 4 levels ahead of his group. And this came on the day where he played for the Spain's under-17 group, which is 2 age groups ahead of his. Now Lamine Yamal is a right winger in La Masia, and he's one of the biggest talents currently there, and he's already had a chance to train with Xabi and the first team, and I can't wait to see what this rising star is going to do in the future. Now the second update is that Klay Thompson has stated in an interview that the Warriors have taken inspiration from Barcelona's tiki-taka. Now the NBA star said that when Stephen Kerr took over the Warriors as their coach, he began to show them tapes of Pep Guardiola's Barcelona in order to instill Barcelona's tiki-taka style on the NBA team by teaching them to constantly pass the ball, to move around without the ball, and to always hit the open man. Now, this strategy has proven successful for the NBA Warriors, who have been able to win 4 NBA championships in the last 8 years. Now the final update is that Joan Laporta has been fined 150 euros for going into the referee's dressing room after a Clásico concluded in order to demand answers for their bad refereeing. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I'd like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.